Hey everyone, it's Holly at Lifeline Yogis. Today we're in Hampi in India and we have a power yoga class. This is a very fast-paced class, intermediate or advanced level. Be prepared to work up a sweat. If you're a beginner, you might not enjoy this class, but give it a go. You might surprise yourself and yeah, I hope you like it. We're going to start in a tabletop position, doing a few round of cat-cow. So we'll inhale, dropping the chest, raising the head. And then we'll exhale, rounding the spine, bringing the chin to the chest. And again, we'll inhale, raising the head, melting the chest down to the mat. And then we'll exhale, round the spine. And again, we'll inhale, dropping the chest. And exhale, rounding the spine. And we'll do one more round. Inhale, dropping the chest. And then exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and slowly making our way back into a tabletop position. And grounding down through the left hand, we'll inhale, raising the right arm into a T position and threading that right arm through to the left hand, resting the right side of the face on the mat. If this isn't enough for you, feel free to stay here. However, if you'd like to go deeper into the shoulder stretch, just bring that left leg and clasp the fingers around the toes. And then moving that right arm just behind, feeling a nice stretch in the back, the hamstring, the shoulder, and just holding for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly make our way back into a tabletop position. And again, we'll do the same on the other side. So grounding down through the right arm, extending the left arm into a T position, and threading that left arm through to the right arm, resting the left side of the face, left shoulder on the mat. Again, staying here if you'd like to, or extending that right leg out to the side, clasping the fingers around the toes, and just reaching that left arm behind. Breathing into the stretch, breathing into all parts of the body. And again, we'll slowly make our way into a tabletop position. And then we're going to do a little bit of balancing. So we'll inhale, reaching that left leg behind, toes are pointing down, right arm comes forward, engaging through the core. And take a long deep inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to bring that right elbow and that left knee together, and then extending back out. Again, bringing the right elbow and the knee together, extending back out. And again, elbow and knee together, extending back out, holding for a few breaths, and slowly releasing. And then we're going to extend that right leg out behind us, left arm comes forward. Nice long line throughout the body, take a long deep inhale, and again, as you exhale, we're going to bring that left elbow and right knee together, and extending back out. And again, elbow and knee together, and extending back out. And one more time, bringing the elbow and knee together, and extending back out. Just holding for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly make our way into tabletop position. And bringing the knees wider together, we're going to take a child's pose, lifting the elbows and the wrist off the mat, just taking a few breaths. And then we'll slowly make our way into downward dog, spreading the fingers nice and wide. Adho Mukha Shavasana. And again, we're going to do a few round of sun salutations, just warming up the body, getting the blood circulating. So we'll inhale, walking the feet to the hands, and exhale, folding over, hips over heels. And then we'll inhale, raising up to standing, joining the palms together and hands to heart center. And again, we'll inhale, raising the hands above the head, and exhale, leading with the chest. We're going to round the spine, folding over. And the next inhale, we're going to come into a flat back, nice and long, gazing forward, fingertips to shins or to the floor, and then exhale, folding over. Spreading the hands into the mat, we're going to come into plank pose, take a long deep breath. And as you exhale, we're going to make our way down to the floor. Bringing the hands alongside of the chest, we'll inhale, gaze forward, coming into baby cobra. Squeezing the elbows together slightly, and then we'll slowly make our way back down to the mat and see if you can push yourself up to plank pose before coming into down dog. And again, we'll inhale, walking the feet to the hands, exhale, folding over. And again, we'll inhale, raising all the way up to standing, reaching the hands up to the sky and hands to heart center. And inhale, reaching the hands above the head. Exhale, leading with the chest, keeping the spine nice and long, folding over. And we'll inhale, gazing forward, flat back, nice and long. Exhale, fold, grounding down the palms, stepping into plank pose. Take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, bending the elbows, making our way down to the mat. Bringing the hands alongside the chest. We'll inhale, coming to high cobra. Slowly lowering the chest back down to the mat, pushing through the hands and the feet, coming into plank pose before going back into down dog. And one more time. Doing another round of sun salutation. Inhale, walking the feet to the hands. Exhale, folding over. And inhale, rolling up to standing, reaching the hands up to the sky, palms joined together and hands to heart center. And we'll inhale, raising the hands above the head. Exhale, folding over, keeping the spine nice and long. And inhale, looking forward, flat back. And exhale, folding over. Again, grounding down through the palms, stepping into plank pose. Take a long deep inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to lower all the way down to the floor, this time coming into an upward dog. Breathing deeply into the spine. And then we'll slowly come back into downward dog. And just checking back in with the breath and the body. Taking a few long deep inhales and long deep exhales. And on the next inhale, lifting the left leg into three-leg dog, toes are pointing down. And exhale, bringing in the knee. See if you can touch the nose with the knee, rounding the spine, holding for a breath. And then we'll ground down that left foot in between the hands. And staying on the ball of the back foot, we'll inhale, straightening out that left leg. And then we'll exhale, sinking into a high lunge. And slightly tilting the pelvis forward. And on the next inhale, we're going to tap that right knee down to the mat. And exhale, coming back. And again, inhale, tapping that right knee down to the mat, coming back. And again, tapping that right knee down to the mat. And one more time, tapping the right knee down. And we'll lower the hands down outside of that left foot, coming into plank pose. Again, bending the elbows, making our way through up dog. And then we'll slowly come back into down dog. And again, we'll inhale, lifting that right leg into three-leg dog, pointing the toes down. And bending that right knee. We're going to roll our body out, bringing the knee into the chin or to the nose, rounding the spine, and we'll slowly ground that right foot down in between the hands. Staying on the ball of the back foot again, we'll inhale, straighten out that leg, and exhale, slowly sinking into high lunge, breathing into the hips, the spine, and again, we'll inhale, tapping that left knee down. Again, slowly tap the left knee down. And again, tapping the left knee down. And one more time, slowly tapping that left knee down. And then we'll lower the hands back down to the mat, stepping that right foot back into plank pose, and slowly bending the elbows, making our way through up dog or cobra. And then coming back into down dog. And again, we'll slowly bend the knees and coming into child's pose, just for a few breaths, resting the body. And then we'll slowly meet back in downward dog. And inhale, lifting the left leg, three-leg dog. And we'll roll out into plank pose, bringing the left knee and the left shoulder together, going back into three-leg dog. And then we'll bring the left knee to the right shoulder, going back into three-leg dog. And one more time on each side, left knee to left shoulder. And then going back out into three-leg dog. And then left knee to right shoulder. And then coming back into three-leg dog and slowly lowering that left leg down back into down dog. And we'll inhale, lifting the right leg, three-leg dog, rolling out, bringing that right knee to the right shoulder, back into three-leg dog. And then right knee to left shoulder, back into three-leg dog. And again, right knee to right shoulder, back out to three-legged dog, and then right knee to left shoulder, and then rolling back into three-legged dog and slowly coming into down dog. And then we're going to roll the body out into plank pose. And then we'll stack our hips and our heels on top of each other, rolling onto the right side, raising the hips as high as you can, pressing down through that right arm. And then if this is okay for you, we'll inhale, lifting that right leg. Just holding here for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly come back into plank pose, lowering down that left hand. And again, we'll stack the hips and the feet onto the left side, lifting the hips as high as you can, grounding down through that left hand and the left arm. And then we'll raise that right leg up to the sky, strengthening out the legs, the arms, the back, the side body. And then we'll slowly come back into plank pose. And we'll just hold plank pose just for a few more breaths. And then we're going to bend our elbows. And we'll slowly make our way down all the way to the mat, holding chaturanga. And then we'll release the whole body, bringing the arms by the side of the body and resting one side of the face on the mat. Recording this one in Hampi for us was so exhausting. It was 27 degrees and I wasn't on such an even surface on this rock, so yeah. If you'd like to challenge yourself even more in yoga, just do it in a hotter temperature on not so even surface. But be careful, because I did fall a few times. And then we're going to bring the head forward, bringing the arms out into a T position, interlacing the fingers behind our back, squeezing the thighs together, lifting the chest off the mat, and lifting the legs off the mat, and just holding the pose for a few moments. And then we'll slowly relax the body, checking back in, and taking a few moments to relax. And again, bringing the head forward, this time bringing the arms out in front. And again, we'll inhale, raising the legs off the mat, squeezing the thighs together, lifting the chest off the mat, gazing forward. And on the next inhale, we're going to bend the elbows, spreading the legs nice and wide, chest nice and wide, slowly coming back to center. And again, bending the elbows, chest is wide, bringing the legs out to the side, back through center. And one more time, bending the elbows, bringing the legs out to the side, coming back to center. And then we'll slowly lower down onto the mat, just taking a few breaths. Again, bringing the head straight forward, we're going to bend the knees, bringing in the heels of the feet towards the sit bones. Stretching the arms back, grabbing both of the feet. And on the next inhale, we're going to pull the legs up, raising the knees off the floor, lifting the chest off the floor, and gazing forward, Dhanurasana. And only the abdominal bears the weight of the body in this position. Feeling a nice stretch in the spine. And then we'll slowly lower down. Just taking a few breaths. And resting the palms outside of the chest, we're going to move into child's pose. Again, rounding the spine. And in your own timing, we'll slowly make our way into downward dog. And on the next inhale, we're going to raise that left leg, coming into three-legged dog, and bending the knee, bringing it into the chest, and then we'll slowly ground that left foot down in between the hands. Staying on the ball of the back foot, we'll inhale, coming into high lunge, and this time we're going to bring the hands to the heart center, And we're going to move all that weight into the left foot and slowly raise that right leg behind us, coming into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, keeping the hands to the heart center, either lifting up through the left kneecap, keeping a nice micro bend in the left knee. And then we'll slowly bring that right knee all the way forward. See if you can do that without touching the foot to the floor. And bringing the hands to the hips, squeezing the shoulders together. We'll extend that right leg forward, engaging through the stomach. And then bending that right knee, hands to heart center. See if you can come back into Warrior 3. No worries if you lose your balance here, it happens to me. Just good to practice the balance. And then again, bringing all that weight into the left leg, bringing that right leg forward, hands to hips, squeezing the elbows together, and then extending that right leg forward, holding for a few breaths, and then rebending that left leg. And then we'll slowly come back into a high lunge, lowering the arms down outside of that left foot, bringing that left leg back into three-leg dog. See if you can keep that left leg raised, rolling out into plank pose, bending the elbows, and then lower that left leg, coming up into upward dog, and slowly come back into down dog. If that didn't work for you, just a regular half vinyasa is fine. And again, inhaling, lifting that right leg, three-leg dog, and then bringing in that right knee to the chest, and then slowly grounding down that right foot in between the hands. Again, lifting the hands up to the sky, high lunge, joining the palms together, bringing the hands to heart center. And again, shifting all that weight into that right leg. We're going to come up into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Now my right leg actually isn't that strong for balancing compared to my left leg. So I find it a lot more difficult to do all my balancing on this side, so you might experience this as well, just normal. And keeping that left leg raised, see if you can bring it all the way through to center without touching the floor. It's a lot more difficult for me to do on this side. And hands to the hips, squeezing the elbows together, extending that left leg forward. And rebending that left leg, hands to heart center, slowly coming back to Warrior 3, really engaging through your core here. And see if you can create a nice long line from the heel of the foot all the way up to the neck, to the crown of the head. And again, we'll slowly bend that left knee, bringing it up to center, bringing the hands to the hips, squeezing the elbows together and extending that left leg forward, strengthening out through that left leg here. And again, rebending that left knee, and we'll make our way into high lunge. Just holding for a few breaths. And then we'll lower the hands down outside of that right foot. Stepping that right leg back into three-leg dog. And again, keeping that right leg raised, rolling our body out into plank pose. Slowly lowering down, making our way through upward dog. And then coming back into down dog. And again, we're just going to bend the knees here. Bringing the knees wide, bringing them together, just taking a child's pose, taking a breath. And then we'll slowly make our way back into downward dog. And on our next inhale, we're going to slowly walk the feet to the hands. Exhale, folding over. And bringing the hips over the heels here. Keeping a micro bend in the knees if you have to. And we're going to bend the knees, swinging the arms forward. We're going to come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Reaching the arms overhead, joining the palms together. Arms should be alongside of the ears. Try not to ducktail your spine here. Squeezing in your stomach, squeezing the abdominal muscles together. And then we're going to lower the hands to heart center. And taking a twist, so bringing that right elbow to the left knee. And just check the alignment of your knees here. Just make sure they're not falling out to different directions, pressing through the palms actively, feeling a nice twist in the spine. And we'll come back into chair pose, raising the hands above the head. And for those of you that are practicing with me right now, but you're like, Holly, when is it over? I'm dying here. Don't worry, we don't have long left. And again, bringing the hands to heart center and taking a twist, so bringing the left elbow to the right knee, pressing through the palms. Again, just checking the alignment of your knees, squeezing the inner thighs together. Keeping the knees bent, just coming into chair pose one more time, nearly there. Squeezing in the stomach. And then bringing the hands to heart center, and we'll slowly fold over the legs. That should feel really nice on your legs here. And then we'll inhale, gaze forward, flat back, nice and long. And again, folding over, grounding down the palms, stepping into plank pose, and bending the elbows, making our way through up dog. And then we'll slowly roll back into downward dog. And again, we're going to roll our body out into plank pose, strengthening up through the legs and putting all the way into the right arm. We're going to lift that left arm, just bringing it to the chest, engaging through your stomach here, engaging through the legs, shoulders, and slowly lowering that left hand down. And same on the other side, shifting all the weight into the left arm and bringing that right arm off the floor onto the chest. And slowly lowering that right arm back down into plank pose. And from here we're going to bend the elbows, coming onto our forearms into a dolphin plank pose. Pressing the forearms and the elbows firmly into the floor, firming the shoulder blades. And just holding here for a few breaths. And from here we're just going to measure up the arms, so just make sure that the elbows are directly under the shoulders. Keeping the forearms on the floor, we're going to clasp the hands together, coming into a dolphin pose. So walking the feet all the way up to the shoulders, keeping the knees bent if you need to. And we'll inhale, lifting that left leg, kind of like a three-leg dog but in dolphin pose. And lowering down, and then we'll inhale, lifting that right leg. And slowly lowering that right leg back down. And actively pressing through the arms here, lifting the shoulders. See if you can tap the nose to the front of the mat, slowly coming into dolphin pose. And again, lifting the shoulders. See if you can touch the nose to the mat, coming in back into dolphin pose. And again, pushing through the arms. See if you can tap the nose again, coming back into dolphin pose. And one more time. See if you can bring the head forward and coming back into dolphin pose. And walking the legs back out to the back of the mat, releasing the hands, coming back into dolphin plank pose. And then we'll slowly make our way into regular plank pose, and then back up into downward dog. And again, we're going to slowly walk the feet all the way up to the front of the mat, folding over. This time bringing the feet about shoulder width apart. I'm going to come into a squat pose, Malasana, and we'll bring the hands to the heart center, and pressing the elbows against the knees, sinking the hips down towards the floor. And no worries if you can't reach the whole sole of the foot to the mat here. It'll just take practice to reach the full foot down. Just keeping the shoulders away from the ears and holding for a few breaths. So we're going to come into a crow pose. So we're going to ground down the palms directly below our shoulders, lifting the sit bones in the air, coming onto the tiptoes, dropping the torso forward, and snuggling your knees into your upper arms. And you can come onto the balls of the feet here, or see if you can slowly lift up each foot one by one, coming into crow pose, Bakasana. And just holding here for a few breaths. And then we'll slowly lower the feet down to the mat. And just bring in our sit bones to the mat. And then we're going to slowly make our way into boat pose, Navasana. And lifting the legs off the floor, bringing them straight out in front of us into about a 90-degree angle. And lengthen the arms alongside of the shins, but not touching the shins. Lifting through the chest. Keeping the belly firm and the back as straight as you can. And then we'll grab the feet here and we'll slowly extend the legs out. And if you're okay with your balance, just dropping your hands, engaging through the core. And then we'll slowly grab onto the legs again, coming back into boat pose, again holding for a few breaths. And again grabbing the bottoms of the feet, straightening the legs up to the sky. And then if you can, lowering your arms down, straighten the legs, engaging through the stomach. And then we'll lower the legs back down to the mat. And from here we're going to make our way onto our back, knees bent, heels under the sit bones, and the arms just resting alongside of the body. And we're going to make our way into bridge pose here, so grounding down the palms under the shoulders, squeezing the elbows together, actively pressing through the feet, pressing through the arms, chest is nice and wide. And from here, grounding down through that right foot. See if you can reach that left foot closer to the left hand. Slowly coming back into wheel pose. And again, see if you can reach that right foot all the way to the right hand. Try not to fall like I did. And then slowly coming back into wheel pose. And grounding down the right foot, we'll inhale, lifting that left leg, straighten it all the way up to the sky. And slowly lowering down, and same on the other side, grounding down through the left leg. And we'll inhale, reaching that right leg all the way up to the sky. And again, we'll slowly lower back down into wheel pose. And to come out of wheel pose, bringing the chin to the chest, slowly lowering down. And we'll slowly drawing the knees into the chest, letting the spine relax on the mat. And then we'll lift the head off the mat, wrapping our arms around our knees, rounding the spine, rocking side to side if you'd like to. And then from here we're going to roll up into a seated position. And just sitting in easy pose for a few breaths. And then from here we're going to lift the legs off the mat, grounding down through the sit bones, pressing the soles of the feet together, keeping the spine nice and long. And then on our next inhale we're going to straighten out that left leg, keeping the right leg where it is, engaging through the core. And slowly bring that left leg back to center. And again, extending the right leg, keeping the left leg where it is. Try and keep the spine nice and long. And slowly coming back to center. And again, extending that left leg. Slowly coming back to center. Extending the right leg. And then we'll slowly come back to center. See if you can extend both feet out to the side, stretching out the hamstrings. Again, keeping the spine nice and long. And slowly releasing, coming back to center, keeping your balance. And one more time, extending the legs out. This time, see if you can let go of the feet, releasing the hands. Bringing the hands directly in front, engaging through the legs, holding for a few breaths. Slowly coming back to center one more time. And then we'll slowly release. This time we're going to extend both legs out in front of us. Coming into Dandasana, staff pose. Toes pointing up to the sky, shoulders away from the ears, engaging through the legs, spine is nice and long. And from here, keeping that right leg extended, we're going to bend the left knee. Grounding down that left foot right in the right elbow crease. Wrapping the left arm around the left leg, just rocking the hips side to side. I think this pose is called Rock the Baby, but I have no idea. Sorry. And then we'll slowly release the leg. And this time we're going to straighten the left leg all the way up to the sky. Just grabbing the hands around the leg, supporting the leg, and pointing the toes up. And keeping the left leg raised, see if you can move that left arm underneath the left leg. Grounding down that left hand on the floor, resting the left leg on the left shoulder, and lifting up into elephant trunk pose. Ekahasta Bhujangasana, and then we'll slowly release. And again, we'll do the same on the other side, just keeping that left leg extended, raising the right knee, coming into Rock the Baby pose, just moving the hips side to side, opening up the hips. And then we'll extend that left leg out, supporting the left leg with the hands, the arms, keeping the toes pointing up to the sky. And again, we're going to move that right arm underneath that left leg, placing that left leg comfortably somewhere just below the shoulder, wherever feels good, making sure it sits nice and strong, grounding down that right arm and lifting the whole body up, engaging through the core. And then we'll slowly release. And then from here we're going to slowly make our way down onto our back, just gently bending in the knees into the chest. We're going to come into Happy Baby pose, Ananda Balasana, gripping the outer edges of the feet, opening the knees wider than the upper body and squeezing them into the upper arms as much as you can, drawing the tailbone down into the mat. Spine is nice and long, breathing into the hips. And then we're going to slowly release out of Happy Baby, coming into our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. Just relaxing the whole body, nothing else to do. Letting your whole body just melt into the earth, palms facing up to the sky. And we'll just take a few moments for ourselves to relax in our Shavasana pose and to come back to our regular breathing. And we'll start to bring your attention back into the space, raising the right arm above the head and bending the left knee, grounding down the heel of the foot under the sit bone, and we'll roll onto our right side, just resting in a fetal position for a few breaths. And then we'll make our way up into a cross-legged position, bringing the hands to the heart center. And well done, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.